Oh, burp.
I keep burping horses.
Horses?
Horses. I had some whiskey last night and it tasted like horses. And so all night and all this morning I've been burping horses. Why are you laughing?
What does a horse taste like?
Like a horse. There's a bloke we follow on Twitter, and he does like he's like an expert with whiskey.
Yes.
And he does all these like blind tastes.
He does.
And I love to watch because he comes out with all these kind of different kind of fruity and flavours and spices.
Yes, he does. Yes.
Maybe Old Spice.
Old Spice, the mark of a man.
Like he comes up with these like exotic fruits and stuff and like chocolates and truffles and vanilla. Do you know what I mean? But I don't taste. I taste like horses, trampolines, Windoline. One of them we had last week. I'm not going to embarrass the distillery by saying which one it is, but it tasted like it tasted like my old French teacher at school. Mrs. Beaverburger. She's not really called Mrs. Beaverburger. I'm just calling her that because if I say it were Mrs. Pickles, then she'd be embarrassed, wouldn't she? I don't know why he's laughing because you never taste whiskey. The way you knock it back, it never even touches the side. I mean, he'll like pour. It's like wine to you, isn't it?
2 fingers.
Yeah, it's like wine. Yeah, I'll give you 2 fingers. And it doesn't even touch the sides. I don't know how you taste it. He eats it like Ollie eats stuff, don't you? Speaking of which, he had a lovely time this week because he went to the beach for the first time. We took him with Otis, and Otis knows the beach really well.
Yeah, he does, yes.
And so he was teaching Ollie how to have fun at the beach.
He loved it.
He did love it.
He did.
Didn't he? And he's a nervous pup.
Yes, he's very nervous.
I think he's the most nervous pup we've ever had, isn't he? And we're trying to socialise him, but it's like really scary. When we first got him, he used to scream, didn't he?
Yeah.
He used to scream and wee himself and run and kind of jump into his arms. And we're kind of slowly getting him there, socialising him, and he's getting there, isn't he?
He's getting there slowly.
Talking about animals, a lot of people have been asking us about the chickens because the bird flu restrictions are still ongoing. It's been months now, hasn't it?
It has, yes.
So they've been not locked up. They've got, is it an 8-metre enclosure?
It's an 8-metre enclosure they've got, yeah.
And we talked about extending it a few weeks ago. We're still doing that.
Yeah.
But it's been held up because where we live, the ground's been frozen forever. And it keeps snowing, and if it's not snowing, it's raining, and if it's not raining, it's blowing a hooligan,
Yes.
isn't it? And we finally started work on the train barn. We started shifting some of the junk out of it.
Who has?
Well, we, the collective we. We are a collective we. Some viewers and locals have come and they're having the bath offers, aren't they?
Yes.
And we've got a buyer for the cage. I don't really want to sell the cage.
Buyer for the cage?
Mrs. Bickerdike at number 72's having the cage for her S&M dungeon, isn't she?
Oh my God.
What? Well, I'm glad it's going to a good home anyway, that'll get some use. If you've not already seen, we've got a new YouTube channel for all the train barn stuff. There's a link somewhere on the screen. It'll be up above his head, or a QR code in this corner, or there's a link in the video description. We've got a new video out there either today or tomorrow, so go across there after you finish watching this one and you can find out what's going on in the train barn. When we missed a few vlogs a couple of weeks ago, we was getting loads of messages on YouTube from people asking if I was okay, what was going on, and we were kind of honest about it on social media that I was having problems and finding it difficult. And I just wanted to kind of explain a little bit of what was going on, because it might help somebody that might be feeling similar or has been through the same, or if you go through something similar in future. I think it all really started last year when I started with the kidney stone thing. Yeah, I don't want to bring that up again. And I had an issue in that I've always been honest with my GP about my anxiety. And I think sometimes if you talk to your GP about anxiety and mental health, sometimes that can be a distraction for when you have some other like illness and pain, like the kidney stone. And for quite a few weeks and months, the pain I was getting from that kidney stone was being put down to anxiety, which wasn't helping me, and I was finding it tough getting it across to my GP that I was having a problem. Now, that kind of causes a cycle of going back to the GP every few days or weeks and contacting them and saying that you've got this pain, and they link that with the anxiety, and all of a sudden I'm labelled with health anxiety, and the issue is then health anxiety on top of a normal anxiety, and it just doesn't help because it wasn't solving the problem of the kidney stone. And it took 3 hospital admissions and I don't know, dozens and dozens of phone calls and appointments with the GP before they actually scanned me and realised what was going on. If you watch the vlogs from back then, you'll remember the story. Now, I think that had more of an impact on me than I was expecting. And even after the kidney stone thing was sorted, I was more anxious and on edge about my health, and I was probably scanning my body constantly and overplaying small little pains and niggles and twitches and things in my body that you wouldn't normally do. And I think that stems back to that not being believed and worrying about my health. Now that started to have an impact because something else happened, and I was finding it difficult swallowing, and my throat was tightening up, and that started probably November, December, and again it was put down to anxiety. Oh, it's just anxiety because of everything you've been going through. And it wasn't. I was genuinely having problems swallowing. I was bringing things back up. I'm sorry, that's a bit too gory, but it wasn't pleasant, and I was getting worried about it. And it took months before they sent me for an endoscopy, you know, where they put the camera down your throat. And they found that I had a hiatus hernia. Not only that, but that had been causing such bad, severe reflux during the night that it was burning right up to my vocal cords, which were tightening up, and that's why I was having difficulty swallowing. So again, this filter of anxiety was preventing me getting real tests to find out a real condition. So none of the things I've been going through over the past year have been anything to do with anxiety or health anxiety. They've actually been real conditions. But the problem is that the GP and medical staff have been treating it as anxiety, literally sending me home without even testing me. That had an effect, and that really took a toll on my mental health and got me to the point a few weeks ago where I literally just broke down. Sean came in from the shop and I was sat on the sofa in tears and just said, I'm having a breakdown, I can't cope with this. Now that triggered a reaction from Sean to start with, but then also the GPs who started to take it a little bit more seriously. And things are getting better now. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm being treated for the hiatus hernia, and if you don't know what that is, it's where part of your stomach comes up into your esophagus. It's not pleasant, but it's not bad, and it is reversible-ish as long as I look after myself. So nothing to worry about. Generally, I'm otherwise fit and healthy again. I'm fine. I feel absolutely fine. So don't worry about me physically. Mentally, I'm probably about 75% back to where I was, which is good for me. But I just kind of wanted to let you know that sometimes being honest with your GP about anxiety isn't always a helpful thing. In my case, it hasn't been. But I've learned from that, and I definitely won't accept, oh, it's anxiety, go home again. And don't you do that either. If you've got a genuine reason to think that you're ill, don't let them just fob you off with anxiety and mental health issues. Because yes, I do suffer from anxiety and poor mental health, but that wasn't the cause of anything that's gone on. And I think I'm lucky in a way, even though it dragged on for so long, that I did get it sorted. Weren't we
What?
just stood here a minute ago? I think it's really clever how I managed to go out in the Jeep and come back and put the camera in exactly the same place, in the same light. I think it's clever. Anyway, what are we having for dinner? Lunch. Sorry, if you're from the south, lunch.
It's dinner. We're having pizza.
Oh, right, okay. The local cafe is doing these waffles, and they've got like the waffles with chocolate ice cream and chocolate sauce and chocolate shavings and chocolate everything.
And what's it called?
Well, we're not gonna product place because we'll get in trouble if we do that.
Will we?
Yeah, and people will know where we live then because it's like the local cafe next to us, isn't it? Let's call it Mr. Spoons. What? There will literally be people Googling Mr. Spoons near Foxes Afloat somewhere in Scotland now.
There will actually.
Trying to find it out. That is it for this week.
Ooh.
We just wanted to update you on everything. We've got some new stuff on the Train Barn channel. If you go over to that channel after you finish this, and you can watch that. But that's it for this one. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already, and the Train Barn.
Yes.
That's going to be fun.
It will be.
Hit the thumbs up button. If you hit the wiggly bell, YouTube will let you know every time we release a new vlog.
I like hitting the wiggly bell.
He likes it in his wiggly bell. What, are we cutting that out?
We are.
All right then. It's time for pizza. See you later. That's not working. Why is that not working?
Then.
That's better. It's not working. He's the most nervous pit.
He'll do that again.
And if it's not raining, it's blowing a hooligan,
Yes.
isn't it?
A hooligan.
It's a while since I blew a hooligan, isn't it? No, you remember me talking about it in that vlog? If it's blowing a hoolie outside, or as my nan used to say, blowing a hooligan. I had to explain why that was wrong, and she still don't get it. So if it's blowing a hooligan, I don't mean like that. Oh. I bet that doesn't taste like horses.
Oh!